Welcome back, fight fans. Welcome back. Salute to my brother, Mr. Two Hands Up. It's the Eviction Notice Show, and we got open topics. And at the end of the day, somebody's got to get evicted today, like they always do. Salute, Two Hands. You got anything you want to kick this thing off with?
Man. Let's just get it, man. Let's go.
Any topics you want to get into first? Because today we just talking about everything. This is for the hardcores. We talking about everything.
I'm trying to think if there's anything specific. You can go ahead and kick it off.
Okay, I'll kick it off. Gary Russell Jr. came out and stated that, he was robbed against Vasyl Lomachenko. He should have got the victory. He said there was a knockdown. And, that's a little outrageous to me. I think Gary Russell Jr., he said he was weight drained. He believes at 135 he can move up and fight Vasyl Lomachenko and go get that back. Now, I think it was a split decision, so it was a good competitive fight. So, maybe Gary Russell is on to something. Maybe he can do it. I didn't think it was a robbery. I thought it was a good win for Vasyl Lomachenko. But when you go back and try to watch highlights and stuff of the fight, those type of things are hard to find for some reason. Is somebody not trying to let that be out, or what's going on with that?
I'm gonna say this about that fight, man. People's perception of how that fight went and how that fight went down is 100% bullshit. You know what I'm saying? I think people get a little bit carried away with defending him. Yes, Vasily won that fight, but at the same time, Gary Russell did knock him down, and they didn't call that knockdown. So if you look at the scores and everything, you probably could have got a draw out of that shit from the scores. But I think Vasily won. I'm just not with all the excuses. You know what I'm saying? But the fight was way closer than it was. And if anybody don't believe that fight was close, why can't you find one video of the fight anywhere? You can't watch the fight nowhere. You can get like a couple second snippets of the footage. It's like they trying to bury that shit. Like Deontay Wilder's brother first lost. Like real rap, man.
That's absolute facts. And look, they try to bury Deontay Wilder's video footage of him getting dropped by Harold Sconius. You can't find that nowhere.
Nah, you can't. You get one bad picture and shit that look like the first piece of paper you getting like some like the shit. Wow, bro. Like it's crazy to me how like they try to bury. See, and it make you think. Okay. If they burying certain shit and this other shit that you can get all of this access to, but the controversial shit, you know what I'm saying? Like, or the things that seem to be a little controversial, man, you can't never find it. It's like that shit is gone. It's like, if anybody can find the full fight of Gary Russell versus Vasily Lomachenko right now, please let me know.
Please let me know.
You're not gonna find it nowhere.
And look, I think, and then you got Gary Russell saying that he wants Ryan Garcia, Tank Davis, Devin Haney. All these boys better be on the lookout at 135. You think that how do you feel about Gary Russell Jr. moving up to 135, getting all that smoke? You think Gary Russell looking good at that division? I think
How tall is Gary Russell?
Let's see how old Gary Russell is. I don't think he's too old.
How tall is he?
I think he's 5'5".
5'5".
Mm-hmm. Let me see. And then you got that's the height is going to be a difference, and then moving up in weight. He's 31, so he's right in the smack dab middle of his prime.
Yeah, he's still young.
But that height it could come into play. But Tank Davis is not a big guy.
Right. If you walk around maxed out if right now he walking around, he said what? When he pulled out that scale, what was it, 143?
Something like that.
143, and he talking about going up there to fight at 135 or 140.
Tank Davis is talking about 135, but he even mentioned Josh Taylor at 140. Look, I think Tank Davis is walking around as a middleweight right now. The Chief
Tank Davis probably can fight at fucking 140 with his thick, out of shape ass. Like, I'm trying to tell you, bro, that man was struggling trying to do sprints, bro. Like he was working. He was like, it looked like he was working off of Leo Santa Cruz early, bro. Like, and just to try to get his shape, to try to make weight for the fight, but it just seemed like a physically impossible thing, bro. Watching this man run a sprint, a block up the street, was one of the hardest fucking things I've ever had to do in my life.
Look, it really, the thing with Tank Davis is this. Tank Davis, I put out a video on this yesterday. Tank Davis is being protected by hot dog nose Leonard Ellaby. This man, it don't make any sense how you got a sausage link for a nose. Like, dude, you want to come out here and talk about offers made. And absolutely right. King Boxing Pound for Pound says Tank is too short for 140. Absolutely. Those guys are really big. Josh Taylor, 5'10". Jose Ramirez, 5'10". And Tank Davis didn't show that he really got the skill set to compete with those type of dudes. Like, right. Tank did not shown that. You struggling with Gamboa. And the funny thing is, Devin Haney, people say a lot about Devin Haney. If Devin Haney was in there with Gamboa at that point, I think Haney would have stopped him quick.
Oh, facts. There's no question. Like, it's almost like, you would have to question, your fighter. If you going in there and you going 12 rounds with Gamboa at that state, and considering that he had, he had something working against him with the injury, there's no way that fight should have went 12 rounds, man. I just think that, coupled with the fact that he hasn't been in shape, and the fact that, you had to go up to 135, it wasn't like you had good weight going up, bro. So, like, you losing sting, you losing power, fam. You going up to 135 trying to save face. It's not like you went up there like you were trying to be great, bro. Let's be honest.
What's going on, Intangible? What's up, my brother?
Yo, salute to the General IBFP. Well, talking about Tank and how he would do at 140, I assume. Yeah, I don't think he'd fare very well. His skills sort of declined from 130 to 135. It seems like it, and the more he's facing lesser fighters, it seems as if he's sort of started to build bad habits now that he's gotten away with it. He just seems more flat-footed, slower. He starts to drag his lead foot. I just don't see Tank faring well against Josh Taylor. His small frame is going to be very detrimental to him against Josh Taylor. Josh Taylor's just going to overpower him. He's 5 inches taller. He's stronger. He's more natural to the weight. And Jose Ramirez will crucify him.
Oh, my God.
Josh Taylor will kill that boy, man. Like I just said, man, once you start going up into 140, 147, all right, now we talking about grown men. We talking about grown men, weight and size. You really have to be able to handle yourself to go up there, man. Tank you're not disciplined enough to go up there with 140 and fight them killers up there. There's no way. You're not big enough. You're not conditioned enough. It'll never happen, man. It's like, it's almost a joke for him to even say that shit.
Okay, look, I'm going to ask both of you guys this. Look, what about Deontay Wilder's talking about that he's going to meet with, I think he said he was going to meet with, who did he say he was going to meet with before he came in, George Foreman, to see if he can, he's already gotten some tips from him on a phone call and all of this. Is any type of meeting with George Foreman, can that save Deontay Wilder? Can he be saved at this point to learn enough to at least be competitive with Tyson Fury? Because all he got to do is land that right hand strong and effective, and he can drop Fury. Is there anything he can get from Foreman to get that?
I mean, Deontay Wilder is the only type of fucking retard who feels as though to have a conversation with a fucking legend over the phone, all you need is a notepad, and you're basically going to get all of the skills that you want by jotting that shit down or just retaining the information through word of mouth. He's not going to try to implement any skill in this game. It's too damn late. Man, Deontay, I don't care. He could spend a whole fucking 2 years with Big George. It's not going to make no sense for him. And then on top of that, I don't think George Foreman would be the answer for him anyway. There's other things Deontay Wilder needs to learn with his size. Like, he should be longer, quicker. He should pop the jab a lot more. He should be doing a lot more punching per round. Kind of like what Michael Moore was saying on IFL TV. Even if you don't hit anything with that, even if you don't hit anything, shoot it out there to blind him. I don't know. I just don't see him learning shit.
What you got, Intangible? Wilder got any chance of learning anything?
I mean, if it's just over the phone conversations, I don't think George Foreman can teach him anything. He's 34 years old. If George Foreman were to enter his camp, like actually physically be there, I mean, what's he going to give him more than just tips? I mean, I don't see just those tips alone being able to help him help Deontay Wilder be able to overcome those situations. Although I will say George Foreman has been in those situations before where his power has to overcome his boxing skill, like against Michael Moore. But no, if we're talking about like just a year or 6 months or however long it'll take to make the third fight, no, I don't think so.
Okay, and look, guys, I had a question from somebody, and they were really adamant about this. And this was, I believe, yesterday when I put out the video about Tank as being the most protected fighter. Look, I know everybody got their own guy. It's debatable who's the most protected fighter in boxing. Some people say Jamal Charlo. I think it's Tank Davis. But then, I had a question from Campos Vasquez, and he says he believes Jaime Munguia is the most protected fighter. And, I don't really agree with that, only because I know for a fact that Jaime Munguia did want to Triple G smoke at one time, and NASDAQ shut that down. So my thing is, at least he went for a guy that was considered to be elite, at least at one point, and he would have been a heavy underdog in that fight. I don't think Tank Davis has ever been in a fight where he was a heavy underdog against an opponent that was at least considered elite or a unified champion. So I'll say at least, Jaime Munguia went for the smoke at least then. I'm not saying now because, they're trying to bring him along slowly to get him right. But I think Tank is still the most protected fighter. I mean, what do you guys think about that? Is Jaime Munguia more protected than Tank? Who do you guys have as the most protected fighter?
At least you can say that Jaime Munguia is inexperienced and is pretty much a work in progress. Tank is already considered Tank is already pretty much considered a top contender, and he has been fights like him versus Loma, him versus Haney, him versus Garcia have already been entertained. Whereas I don't think Jaime Munguia is in that phase, and I think they best protect Jaime Munguia because he needs more experience, even against lower level fighters. So I'd probably say Tank is more protected.
What do you got? Two hands. Who do you got?
I would have to definitely say Tank is more protected. Even both of them are world champions, but considering that Jaime's younger, and I think the reason that you would consider, in my opinion, I would say Jaime is more protected because Golden Boy is trying to protect Jaime from himself. So if you want to look at it in the sense where it's like Tank's protection plan is a lot different. Tank is being protected from, getting his head smacked off by the other top-notch talent and being exposed and just being, because it's a business at the end of the day. They ain't trying to lose their little light-skinned cash cow, you know what I mean? Or so he's supposed to be, but I don't know. I don't think it's the same with Jaime Munguia.
Now, two hands. Boxing Monster, my brother said Caleb Plant is the most protected. My other brother, Immortal Boy, says Charlo's the most protected. It sounded like everybody from the PBC mostly is protected. Like, is there anybody on the PBC that really want all the free smoke, that's not ducking, that's not protected? Any PBC fighter that's really just want all of the smoke? Anybody? I can't think of one.
Man.
Honestly, I can't imagine that none of them actually don't want to fight anybody. Unless that's just a offered protection agency, but I can't imagine that none of them would want to fight anybody. I think it's just the business model that the PBC has put up that they just can't really go anywhere, and they have to project an image that they can't go. I really just think it's the promotional company, not the fighters, that's not letting them fight anybody, because I can't imagine none of these guys want to fight anybody.
Man, Jarrett Hurd proving the fight, so I ain't gonna go hard on Jarrett Hurd like that. Jarrett Hurd has been proving the fight. He fought everybody, and then even when he was supposed to, unify with Jermell, he did come out and say, "Yeah, I do want a tune-up match first." So so I ain't gonna be too hard on Jarrett Hurd, but a lot of these dudes, they do have some little ducking kind. I ain't gonna say, I don't know, man. It's kind of hard to call a bunch of motherfuckers some duckers, man. But
they say Sean Porter won all the smoke. Jermell Charlo won all the smoke.
Sean Porter. So if you look, there's a couple guys that will fight you. Shit, Jermell. Shit, he willing to fight.
Yeah.
And shit, he was trying to make the law. He was trying to make a law fight before this virus really was kicking off. This pandemic kicked off like that. So I wouldn't call that a bad fight at all. That's really a kind of a dangerous fight for him, considering the way he fights, loading up on the 1-2. So I don't know, man. A few of those guys, man, they willing to go for it, man. But a bunch of them,
I think that Jermell Charlo actually does have a decent 154-pound resume, and considering that the PBC, for the most part, and at 154, is it's a PBC division pretty much. I think that Jermell Charlo is. I think that's a place where Jermell Charlo and other fighters in there like Rosario and Williams can show that they actually want that smoke, because there's no promotional company getting in the way, because they don't want to go meet up with anybody else.
I know, Junior Moreno. No one's saying Sean Porter's protected. We're saying that he wants to smoke. He'll take fights. Jermell Charlo himself, I'll tell you this about Jermell Charlo. Jermell Charlo is not scared of any of these guys. He's probably got the biggest nuts. And even though he's the guy that's a mediocre boxer, in my opinion, he's a mediocre to average boxer. He got a good punching ability. But I think he really does. Did you hear the interview where he said if Demetrius Andre come back down on 154, he's knocking his ass out? So if that's how you feel about Demetrius Andre, if that's how you really feel, and his brother, he won't even talk about Demetrius Andre. Eddie Hearn straight hold him out on a live the other day where he jumped on, said, I'm trying to make your day. And Eddie Hearn named all these guys. He named Triple G, Canelo, Demetrius Andre. And then, Jermell Charlo was just like, shit, call out. Like, he didn't have nothing else to say. So I know Jermell won it, but Jermell is an absolute coward. Like, there's no – and then this makes no sense.
Bro,
honestly,
go ahead, Box. Go ahead and tell.
Yeah, I just don't feel that them saying call Al is necessarily a scapegoat. I genuinely think that it's just Al Heyman and the PBC model that doesn't want to work with anybody or split the pie.
We lost you there, Intangible. And the only thing I'll tell you in regards to call Al, my only thing about that is that when you say call Al, here's the problem with that. Jermell Charlo's not saying call Al.
That's true.
And he's saying he can get the smoke right away. Jermell Charlo has no problem. Sean Porter's not saying call out. It's certain dudes that says call out.
I take two things away from what Jermell Charlo was saying when he was sitting in his house and he was recording when he was doing that little fucking live, when he was like, if you think I'm the 160-pound Charlo, exit the chat. If you think I'm the 100, he was like, if you think I'm the 160-pound fighter, exit the chat. If you think I'm the 147-pound fighter, exit the chat. Basically, because they all got the same haircuts and shit. Motherfuckers always get them mixed up and say they look alike. But at the same time, people know and consider his brother a ducker. Jermell don't like that title, so he can't say his brother a ducker for real. So it was kind of like he was trying to like let it be known that he was like, yo, I'm willing to fight anybody. He said, it don't make no sense for me to go up to 160. It makes sense for me to stay at 154 and wipe out all the division and get everything that's coming to me. And I said, yeah, it makes sense, because he was trying to do it at first until Jared Hurd lost and he lost. You know what I'm saying? So I think Jermell has a problem with the fact of that title of duckery even surrounding his camp. So he want to make sure he separates himself from it as much as he can. So I don't know, man.
Think about it like this. Jermell Charlo was calling out Canelo because Canelo didn't mention him, didn't say anything, and so he thought he could just call him out and clout chase. Then he got offered a contract, and he immediately shut the fuck up. So now at this point, what is Jermell doing? Like, this guy is wasting his damn career. He's wasting his damn career. And if he's not the most, I got Tank Davis as the most protected, but he's the fucking runner-up. Like, it don't make any sense to have a nose ring so deep in your face that you can't smell the bullshit that's going on.
I got to call it 1,000% facts, man. The motherfucking most protected fighter on the PBC is Jermell Charlo. I've said Jermell Charlo is Wilder 2.0 for the longest time, bro. Like, this dude he's gotten that WBC belt thrown in his lap since he's been interim, and he has not tried to do anything. I mean, anything credible with it. So he's basically like, thank you, Canelo, and just happy riding off in the sunset, polishing that thing. Like, come on, bro.
Right, but I mean, also, Tank Davis won't even fight PBC fighters.
That is true.
Yeah, like, I mean, that bull, ever since he fought Pedraza, I mean, like, he hasn't even shown interest in fighting Gary Russell.
Here's a hell of a poll for you guys. What do you think about this? who's going to be the first fighter to step up and fight a good name right now, Jermall Charlo or Tank Davis? And I mean, I would rather say Charlo would probably be more likely simply because he's just surrounded. And Tank Davis, after Leo Santa Cruz, I mean, where can he go?
I mean, shoot. I mean, if I look at the pattern, okay, I done watched the guy, you know what I'm saying, fight certified 130 pounders, you know what I'm saying, like his pretty much his last 3 damn fights. I have no idea, but Tank do the same shit. So really, they about a neck and neck right now, man. They both just trash right now.
Boxing Finesse made a point in the comments. Do you think Jermall Charlo stepping up and fighting Chris Eubank, is that like enough to say that he's actually stepping up or in fighting somebody at least?
Man, I like the Chris Eubank
because
fight,
that's a fight that's actually on the horizon. Tank doesn't have any like real competitive big fights on the horizon at all.
Well, it's not even just the Chris Eubank
backing out of the Eubank fight. From what I thought Chris Eubank said, I thought something about that fight ain't gonna happen now or some shit.
Well, here's the interesting thing, Two Hands. Even if the Chris Eubank fight ain't even the one that excites me, that excites me. The one that excites me is the Derevyanchenko. They got him #1 in the WBC. They haven't called a mandatory for Charlo since he won the belt. That fight, if that fight gets made, both of them on the PBC side, that'll be a hell of a matchup.
I mean, Derevyanchenko fights on all different networks. He fought Jack Colkay on the PBC. He fought Jacobs on HBO. He fought what's his name? He fought Golovkin on his own. Yeah, I think that's a very realistic fight that could be made, and I'd probably favor Derevyanchenko slightly in that fight.
What do you think on that, Two Hands? You think Jermall would look for that? I mean, I think, knowing the WBC and Mauricio Cheeseburger Suleiman, I think that he's going to take his time on mandating any fights that Uncle Al don't want him to mandate right away. I don't think he's going to be in a rush to mandate the fight. Like you said, Wilder 2.0, I think he's going to take his time. He's going to try to Dillian White the situation a little bit.
Man, honestly, it only the only fight's going to happen is whatever makes sense. Whatever makes sense to Al Heyman and Sam Watson and them behind the scenes, for real. If they don't feel like Derevyanchenko makes sense for them to make, they're not going to make it, because at the end of the day, too, it's still a business. Jamal and them boys, they look like stars. They're not stars. They just look like stars. So, I mean, would you want Derevyanchenko in place of Jermall Charlo right now at the front of your business? Man, I don't know if the PBC gonna want that fight.
Yeah, I mean Derevyanchenko is a guy who's very sort of high risk, somewhat low reward. That'd be easily Charlo's best win at 160.
Oh hell yeah!
But also Derevyanchenko doesn't have a belt, even though he arguably should have had one in his last fight. He hasn't beaten any really big names. The biggest name he's beaten is Jack Colkay. Now, what really is there to gain for Charlo? I mean, even though that he's a good fighter, and I mean, based on how he's performed against the two best fighters he's fought, which is Jacob and Golovkin, even though he's performed well, what is a casual or what is the average boxing fan going to look at that victory as? Or how are they going to be able to see that fight as big for what it is?
Right, they're going to look at that comparable to Cavalier.
Right now, nobody looks at him as a top fighter. Everybody thinks that anybody will beat him. He don't want to fight Andre. He doesn't want to fight Canelo. He says he want to fight Triple G, but if he's offered to fight, I don't know if he'll take it.
Right, they'll look at that when, like I said, they will look at that if Jermall fights Sergey Derevyanchenko, man, hardcore is going to respect him, man, but the casual fans wouldn't know what to do with that. They would just that would be like equivalent to Terrence Crawford and Kavaluskis to casual fans.
But also, what kind of purse would Charlo get from that fight?
Right,
that's another thing.
Look, does it make more sense to keep Charlo at 160, or does it make more sense to put him at 168 and then put him in the mix with Plant and Benavidez and then have those stack that division up a little bit? Does that make more sense? And Charlo has had history with Benavidez and some words passed back and forth. I mean, does it make sense to put him in there with those two guys and just
that'd be a disaster? That'd be a disaster for Charlo. I mean, that is just that he would I give him pretty much a 0% chance to beat either of those guys. Like
Right.
Benavidez, even though I'm a little bit critical of his skill set, he's good at maintaining range. He has a solid jab, and he's very tall. He's taller than Charlo, and he has very fast hand speed. Charlo is a dude who loads up on his shots, is easy to predict, and needs to set his feet to be able to get his shots off. Caleb Plant, all he has to do is just wait for Charlo to plant his feet and try to throw his shots and just pivot out the way and throw shots at him from angles. I mean, that's just a disaster for Charlo. There's no way he makes it out of that.
Yeah, man. I'm Charlo going up to 168 with just Benavidez himself, where he lacks in certain skill sets with other fighters, they might be superior in those departments than him. Man, he just got heart, man, and he just got a punch resistance that's out of this world because he just don't care, man. He literally walks through you. He likes to taste the blood. He wants to be at your chest. He wants to be in the phone booth. He likes hooking you on the ropes. He just want to manhandle you. I don't think Jamal Charlo even want to go up there. And with Caleb Plant, he's just not his boxing IQ ain't high enough for that. So.
And look, and my thing is, I think the only way that you can beat a guy like David Benavidez is you got to hurt him. And I don't see anybody at 168 that's able to hurt David Benavidez aside from Canelo. And that's because Canelo got experience and power that he can go to the body. I don't think anybody can be a threat to Benavidez. I think Plant has the skills to try to finesse the fight, but eventually he'll wear down and slow down if Benavidez keeps the pressure and the momentum. Like Tuan said, he puts a lot of pressure on you. Charlo, he's not even proven at 160. I mean, he had hell dealing with Matt Korobov.
Yeah. You talking about David Benavidez. That's what I'm saying. Like a lot of those dudes at 168, except Canelo, have a problem with David Benavidez because he just has that thing that you can't teach. And that's just heart, man. He got that thing you can't teach. Some fighters just got that extra gear to just switch on just in combat. It just make them, you know what I'm saying? It just make them who they are. He just got that thing.
Now, look, my brother D. Jefferson joined the panel, Immortal Boxing True Salute family. And you know what? I just want to get everybody's takes on this. I'm going to start with two hands because I didn't really get everybody's takes on this. Look, what is everybody thinking about Caleb Plant telling Canelo he's free in September? What is everybody's thoughts on that?
Man, that shit is lame to me because, when you had prime opportunity to fight that man and you completely, you didn't want to do it. And this is my thing about these dudes, man, that they really got to wake up here. Who are you to try to dictate when you going to be ready with Canelo? What the hell makes you the A-side, bro? Sit your ass down, bro. You talking about a man that signed a 9-figure deal and you think you going to dictate when you going to be ready? Like September, man, what is wrong with these fools, man? You don't dictate nothing around here. If that man pulled up on you and told you you need to be ready in June, you needed to adhere to the fact. And if that man said jump, you need to say how high, bro, and just be ready for the demands because you don't got no pull around here, B. You don't get to dictate what goes on.
Right. Let me tell you something, man. This fool Caleb Plant, Oscar told your dumbass. He told your dumbass, you won't get the opportunity again. You idiot. I'm tired of these new age fighters keep talking about time. I don't have enough time to prepare. When you got guys showing you, when you fight 4 or 5 times a year, idiot, that's enough time. You had 75 days. You turned it down. Now you want to goddamn come out. You know why you want to come out? Because those pockets light. COVID-19 tapping a whole lot of pockets. Now he want the money fight. Now all of a sudden he ready. Nah, you get no chance, bro. You blew that chance. You blew it. Step to the back of the line, Plant. That's what you got to do, bro. Step to the back.
I don't know how 5 months after fighting Vincent fucking Feigen Boots is too much for you.
Man, that's an embarrassment, bro. Like, you what type of games are y'all playing? Like, people can't see what's going on here, bro. You had an opportunity to fight the man, made the worst excuse in the world, and then now you're talking about you ready in September. Why do these dudes act like they get to dictate what they get to dictate terms, man?
Yeah, I mean, realistically, you have to look if the face of boxing comes up to you and your best win is a Uzcategui and you just came off a fight with a Feigen boots and he offers you a multi-million-dollar payday and you didn't take a lot of damage and you're not taking the fight. And then a couple months later, you want to say, oh, I'm ready to take the fight. It's like, no, you lost your opportunity. Now you're going to have to get back in line.
Yeah, salute to the generals, D and IBT.
And look, this is my thoughts on the whole thing with Caleb Plant. I think he's a good fighter. I think he's underrated. I think he got some good skills. I have no problem with Caleb Plant. The only thing is, it's like if you turn down a Floyd Mayweather fight. Why are you turning down a fight with a guy who's on the top of boxing? Like, you don't turn that shit down. It's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Even if you lose, who gives a fuck? You lost to the best. It's okay. It's the same thing that Luis Ortiz turned down the fight with Anthony Joshua. Who cares? I would rather lose to AJ, a more technically sound fighter, a unified champion, and I'm going to get a career-high payday. What's wrong with these idiots? Like, don't turn down these great opportunities. Like, you can always bounce back. If Caleb Plant would have just been competitive with Canelo, even if you didn't beat him, his stock would have rose 100,000%, and everybody would have knew him the world over. And if he would have worked his ass off, he could have got a rematch at some point. But he fucked around and blew it because he's a fucking idiot.
You know what the problem is, Luke? How the fuck they gonna sit back and let a little young boy who was a prospect months ago, let them show them how to do it? Teofimo Lopez, you understand what I'm saying? He taking it. Teofimo Lopez right now is in a win-win situation. It don't matter if he loses to Lomachenko. He's losing to Lomachenko. That's what you should have done, Plant, you idiot, because you would have been losing to Canelo. It's not a fucking scar on you when you lose to the best. At least you had the balls and the tenacity to go in there and fight the best.
Yeah, bro. Look, I think Caleb Plant is only like a year or two younger than Canelo, and yet Canelo has 15 champions beaten to Caleb Plant's 1.
Right.
I mean, just a slaughterhouse. Think about what he's doing compared to you. You should be grateful for that shot.
It's like all of these dudes make excuses, and then they run to the media and act like they never have these opportunities to unify these belts. They never had these opportunities to make these paydays or these other promotional outfits, give them an opportunity to get in the ring. But realistically, you do. But the opportunities are only few and far between, bro. Like, you only got so many guys that are cash cows that can generate a name for you. Or you're going to have to mix it up with a guy that has a good name, and you guys are going to have to put on a fucking a fight of the decade kind of a fight just for the public to demand it again, just so it will generate money. And I think that's what everybody misses, bro. There's only so many stars. You guys won't fight each other, put on a fucking great bloodbath of an epic war to make yourself stars, but y'all want to sit on your fucking hands and complain about opportunities. Man, y'all don't even go after the ones that you're given. If Canelo comes your way, I can't say it enough. If Canelo comes your way and he offers you the opportunity to fight him, bro, you're going to have to take it. Because even if you lose, as long as you don't go out there and you look like Anthony Crawler versus Lomachenko or some shit like that, you're going to be all right. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yo, I just realized this. Canelo has beaten 15 world champions in his career thus far. If he beats 8 more, and he's 29, right? If he beats 8 more, he has the all-time record for most champions defeated.
And look, hold on. I just want to say this one thing. Think about this. Canelo got lowballed for the Mayweather fight. Mayweather's out here paying guys $3 million while he's making $30 million, shit like that. And they're talking about Canelo lowballing Billy Joe Saunders when he offered him $7 million. They're talking about Anthony Joshua's lowballing Luis Ortiz offering $5, $6, $7 million. Why are these guys got to be lowballing every fucking body? But they're not keeping the same energy.
So they don't never keep the same energy. These fools don't know how to keep the same energy. You know, I just got off the goddamn live. Sorry I'm late anyway, Luke. I was on live, my own live running my mouth. But anyway, I just got off the live with an idiot that just don't get it about Deontay Wilder. You know what I mean? He's going to lose. The fool should really take step aside money. But fuck all that. Fans, they don't get it. They don't get it. Hell, some of these boxers don't even get it. And they're in the sport.
What do you think, IBT? What do you want to speak on this? I didn't get your perspective on all this mess.
Yeah, so Caleb Plant is doing something dangerous, and he turned down the face of boxing for a by far largest career payday, a high payday, right? So his plan, obviously these guys, the reason they don't chase greatness on their own is because they know if Canelo's in their weight class, they can just hold onto a belt and use that as their ticket to try to get a fight down the road, because they know he wants greatness. They know he wants to unify. So they hold onto that belt. They try to complain and clamor for a shot, and then he gives them one, and they go low ball offer, right? So he's gonna have to beat David Benavidez basically if he wants a chance at another Canelo fight, because there's no way with his current resume and his current profile that he's gonna be given another shot like that.
Oh, wait a minute, everybody. A guy named Get This Smoke said, "Are you calling me an idiot?" I don't know if he's talking to D or Get This Smoke. Welcome to the show. What's up?
Hey, what's up, man? First time, first time. Thanks for having me. But I just got into the panel late, starting to hang out that people were over here, so I figured I'd come through. Plan on being in the chat until I felt like there was a disrespectful comment aimed in my direction, and I just want clarification. Were you describing me as an idiot that don't get it, D. Jefferson?
Smoke. On my live. Now, be honest.
I just want to know if you were talking about me. I just want to know if you're talking about me.
I'm going to answer your question, and I want you to be honest about it, okay? Because you're always on my lives. On my lives.
Sounds like the answer is yes.
Hold on. On my lives, have I said, Smoke, you idiot? Have I said that?
So the answer is yes?
Have I said that, Smoke?
I don't care, D. I just want to know. I literally don't care. I truly don't care. I promise you I don't
care. So if you want to say, was I talking about you? Was you defending Wilder? Yes, I was talking about you. You idiot.
Okay, so here's the thing. I've been trying to debate you, and what you did was duck. And now you're calling me out my name like you have some sort of intellectual superiority over me. Man, you need to stop. Either debate me or shut the fuck up for real.
Listen, I debate you every day when you come
on. No, I don't debate you every day. What you do is mute me and you rant. That's not a debate.
Oh my God. So what is it you want to debate about Wilder? What we were talking about?
We don't have to be, it doesn't have to be about Wilder. It could be about anything. It could be about anything.
Was Wilder.
It literally can be about anything.
Okay, well, we'll debate, Smoke. Just see me on my live. Right now, let's let Luke run it.
I just got a question. What was the comment that was made about Deontay Wilder that caused this whole beef?
Okay, so here's what I said. I said that it would probably be a good thing for Wilder to take step-aside money so that Fury could fight Joshua, and then and put in there that he gets the winner. That would be a good thing because he got arguably beaten in the first fight, obliterated in the second fight, and it might not be wise for him to jump right back in there with Fury. Taking step-aside money, going to fight whoever the fuck, which in my scenario was Pulev, because he would have to take step-aside money, would probably be better for Wilder than jumping right back in there with Fury. That was the initial statement. That's what my live was about.
Okay, let's start. Did you have a problem with that statement?
Nope.
So
that's why I don't understand why he's calling me an idiot.
Yeah, but I called you an idiot because of some of the other shit we was talking about. You came in on some other shit, and then it took us about 45 minutes to get you to say you didn't have a problem with that. And don't fucking lie, because I'm biased and all of them was on there. You always come in defending Wilder as soon as you hear his name, bro. And you say a lot of things about Wilder that none of us agree with it. And all of us would say, Smoke, you idiot.
Get this, Smoke. What's your stance on Deontay Wilder right now? Let's just put this all on the record so we'll know what's going on.
I'm confused, right? I'm confused. Because Smoke showing a whole new level a next level aggression for D calling that man an idiot when D calls Smoke an idiot at least 30 times a damn week.
Exactly, bro.
So I'm trying to understand this new animosity here. Because there's some new energy.
Hey, hold on.
Okay, I'll tell you how.
I'm gonna bring you right back, bro. Just give me 2 minutes.
Okay, and I'll tell you how. Because he came on. D had a hypothetical about Wilder stepping aside, and I went into the first. It started off with me saying likely there'd be, a two-way rematch clause for Wilder and for AJ and Fury if that happened. And he's like, no, this is just a hypothetical. Let's stick to my scenario. So I stuck to a scenario and I gave my opinion based on his scenario. That's why I don't understand. Like, now you come somewhere else and it's like I'm defending Wilder, all this stuff. Like, no, I wasn't. I went through your scenario. I gave my opinion of what boxing would look like based on your scenario, and also how it would benefit Wilder if he did step aside. So now I'm coming to a channel that I've never heard of. I hear I'm an idiot for actually going along with your scenario that was complete fucking lunacy in the first place. Like, I don't get it.
Now, so hold on. Let me respond to that. So first and foremost, Smoke, you jumped on this live and you asked me a question. Am I that idiot? Motherfucker, I didn't get up here and say get this smoke. And I never have problems saying the name if I wanted to say the name. So you felt some kind of way. You got up here on the live. You felt some kind of way about me doing what I do to your face. See, I'm not the type of nigga that do nothing behind nobody's back. Bro, you know it's not serious. You get up on my lives and you say it's not serious, but now you run over here on Nuke's live and act like you got a problem with it. Nigga, like Two Hands just said, I call you idiot. I don't know how many times. Me and you done lost count. So now you want to take it personal or feel like some kind of way about it? And I didn't say your name here. I just said I was on my live.
I just want to give a quick shout out to my brother Mike on Sports. Mike Rose, salute to you, my brother. I just wanted to give him that big up.
What's up, Mike?
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, so don't you want to take it personal, Smoke? Do you? If not, just take it for what it is, bro.
It's not even that. It's the constant mischaracterization of my position. I didn't fucking get on there and defend Wilder. As a matter of fact, I didn't interrupt you. I didn't interrupt you. You said your piece. Don't interrupt me to ask me a question that's not part of what we're actually talking about. Please, let me just finish my thought.
Finish.
So first off, I went along with what you were talking about. I didn't do what the things that you accused me of when you just called me an idiot on IBFP. That's why I'm getting on. That's why I'm getting on you. Like it, and furthermore, it's one thing to say something to my face. It's quite another thing to say something behind my back while mischaracterizing my position.
Okay, first and foremost, that's what I was just explaining to you. I didn't say your name. That's the first thing. I didn't say your name, and I have no problem saying names. Nuke has fucking 14,000 fucking subscribers, bro. I don't even have 2,000. So it's a lot of people on here that don't know who the fuck I was talking about. You came on here and made it plain who the fuck I was talking about, okay? So what I was saying is this. It is not anything that I wouldn't say to you. I don't talk behind people's back, bro. And I don't know why you're getting emotional about it, but here's something that everybody that comes on my little 1,100 subscribers, this is something that we all know about you. You defend Wilder to the fucking death of you. So it's no mischaracterization about how you defend Wilder. You defend Wilder to the death of you, bro, and everyone knows it.
Hold on.
Okay. I didn't just.
All the time. Defender.
Okay. So one of the guys on your panel, right, was just on that other panel. One of the guys that's on this panel right now was also over there. Sure, you didn't mention me by name, which is why I asked you, are you talking about me? And the reason why I said that was because I wasn't defending Wilder. Actually, I was going along with your nonsensical scenario. And the issue is, no matter what I say, that's what you come back with. I just defend Wilder. Even if I'm not defending Wilder, that's what you say. I'm defending Wilder. Everybody knows how I'm defending Wilder. Even when I'm not defending Wilder, that's what their story is.
Let me ask you a question real quick.
One thing I just want
to what is this? The Eviction Notice self-help group?
Yeah, I'm biased with them, but let me just say this, Luke. We had to redirect Smoke. He came in defending Wilder, and then I calmed him down and said, no, this is just a scenario. But go ahead, Unbiased. That's all I wanted to say. Go ahead, Unbiased.
Yo, what up? What's going on, guys? You know, look, this is what I will say. Smoke, he's a big fan of Wilder. That's what I will say. So, you know, it comes off that he is not protected, but defending Wilder at certain times. You know what I'm saying? So somebody listening to like a live stream of Smoke and D could get that. That's what I will say. Yeah, but what are we talking about?
So what we're talking about is how me saying at this point, that AJ and Fury would have a rematch clause is now me coming into the thing defending Wilder. I didn't come in defending Wilder. That's my point. Is that you keep saying I'm doing shit that I'm not doing, and I don't really appreciate that shit. Especially you're gonna be calling me idiots all the time behind, like all over YouTube.
Let me do this. Let me do this.
Over here would know who he was referring to unless you brought yourself over here to bring it up. But I'm just
unless you're over there, unless you're already over there.
Let me do this. Let me do this right quick. Smoke. I apologize for calling you an idiot on IBFP, bro. Now, can we fucking let this go and move on? Because this shit is ridiculous, bro. I'll just maintain the calling you an idiot on my channel like I do every day. How about that?
Cool. And then we still need to get that debate off.
There we go.
You want to debate you, don't act like AD. Don't duck that smoke.
Listen, duck what? I eat this nigga up like snacks every day on my channel.
Yeah, keep feeling like that. Yeah, I know, because in your mind, I'm saying stuff I'm not saying. But in the debate, it's not going to be like that.
All right, Smoke. I got you, dog.
Be on your ass, man.
Oh,
I was gonna let you live. But now, like, you can't stop doing it. You can't stop doing it. So now, like, this is my first time over here. Like, this what you do? Apparently you're obsessed. So let's just get it in.
D, that's what you do.
Oh, listen. For everybody that's on my channel, Smoke comes over there to my channel every day. He's a faithful subscriber. He's a speaking.
I'm a supporter, man.
Stop Talk family. So this ain't nothing new. This is what I do to Smoke all the time.
Is this Wave the White Flag Promotions?
No. This is what I'm saying. It's going to happen. It happens all the time. I don't know what Smoke talk about. Let's debate. We always debate.
No, we don't debate. You rant and kick me backstage. That's not a debate. And then you tell me you bodied me. That's not a debate. That's just you. It's just you breaking your arm, patting yourself on the back.
Smoke said he needs neutral ground.
Yeah. So whatever you want to debate, wherever, on your turf, whatever.
Hey, you could debate on my channel. I'll host it. You know what I'm saying? So it's fair.
That'll work too. And look, whatever you want.
Bias is going to be
wherever Smoke wants it. Yeah, I'm not gonna.
I will play B-side. I will play B-side to beat the shit out of you, bro. What the fuck? I don't give a fuck about
Smoke knows I don't like Wilder. I call Wilder a bum to him 24/7, so he knows that already. I'm not gonna
walking out without a leg.
Hold on. We don't have to debate Wilder. We don't have to talk. Listen, you are the one obsessed with Wilder, not me.
Hold on. I got a question. Forget this, Smoke. This is just from the IBFP. I just got one question for you.
Yeah, what's up, man?
Do you think that Deontay Wilder will lose the rematch? How do you see the rematch for Fury going?
Right now, I got Fury winning it. I'd like to see who Wilder brings to his camp.
Okay. That's perfectly reasonable, logical situation. I mean, do you think that Wilder should step aside and let AJ and Fury fight for undisputed?
Nah.
What?
Why can't he step aside?
Because I think that in a Fury AJ undisputed scenario, there's going to be a two-way rematch.
Well, I'll put it like this. That should actually benefit Deontay Wilder, because right now, I mean, just looking at it from the outside, you would think that Wilder needs all the time he can to get all the advice he can, because he didn't lose to Fury. He got the shit beat out of him in that last fight. So it wasn't like it was a close fight either way. I mean, he literally beat the dog shit out of him from beginning to end. The guy was looking like a drug. He was looking like Errol Spence, nightclub moving around the ring. So when I look at it like that, I'm like, shouldn't he use all of this time? Because now he's got a little bit of time to try to prepare and reach out to add 2 new people to his camp and reach out to George Foreman. But extra time would help. So why wouldn't he just step aside, get that time in, and try to improve on those things?
Because as we see in there's certain divisions, and the heavyweight division being part of that, these fights are taking years to get made. So once you take stuff like when you talk about the undisputed fight, that's going to be 2 fights, no matter who's in that fight. Like pretty much that's going to be if it's Fury, AJ, and Wilder in any combination for all the belts, it's going to be 2 fights, and that's a year in boxing terms right now. So the question is, and I understand it. I feel like it's a logical one. Does more time benefit you? It could, but it doesn't necessarily. If Wilder actually is able to change a couple of things, I think the fight is it happens differently in the trilogy. But the jury's out of whether or not Wilder can do that by the next fight or even in a year. So if he can't actually make the adjustment, then whatever. He's just not going to be able to be at the top of the division. That's too bad, so sad. Should have started working on your fundamentals earlier. If not, like if he can make the couple of tweaks and get the strategy together to beat Fury, then Bob's his uncle and he just moves on with his career.
I mean, it would just be logical because look, I think the majority of people, even you yourself, feel like Wilder's just going to be in for more of the same in the next fight. And, he hasn't improved in all this time. Why not take a full year, regroup, get some easy checks, get some easy work under your belt, try to improve on a few things, then come back strong. That makes the most sense regardless of who come out undisputed, because if Wilder becomes undisputed by beating anybody, it would make more sense. And then if AJ beats Fury, stylistically for Wilder, that might be, this is a guy that maybe I can land one shot on. Maybe I can just land this one shot on AJ.
Yeah, I'm not a Wilder fan to the point where I need to have him catch shortcuts to undisputed. If he's the best, then he should be able to get undisputed. If not, let him get knocked off, and that's the end of that.
I understand what you're saying, but his whole career has been shortcuts.
Actually, you could say that his career has been slow walked, and he's fallen in love with his success and his power, and now he has to actually improve and round his game out.
Unbiased, my brother.
I'm gonna be honest. I don't even want to talk about bum ass Wilder, bro. I'm just done talking about Wilder. We just did a live talking about that bum. I'd much rather discuss like boxers who could box. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's just a bum to me. That's just how I feel about Wilder. So
yeah, I mean, he has so many deficiencies at this point. I don't see any amount of time it would have to take his whole career going back in time to learn how to box instead of falling in love with his power on day one, because he has like an insane amount of issues that at the top level of heavyweights, once they have size and skill like him, or size like him and far superior skill, they give him all sorts of trouble.
And I got a question for Unbiased real quick, and then I'm gonna steal this line from two hands. Why are some of these guys sucking the skin off of Caleb Plant, and this guy's the dude that's turning down big opportunities? Like these guys out here sucking the skin off of this dude, like he's the truth. Like like Canelo was scared of. How are you scared of a guy when you're making an offer to him? I don't understand. And Caleb Plant didn't even want to hear the offer. He turned it around right away.
Right.
Well, people think that Canelo is afraid of Caleb Plant.
Caleb Plant, Demetrius Andrade. And how are you scared of Andrade when you fought Floyd Mayweather, a guy who's much more skilled? If you're scared of a loss, but you fought a guy who's a million times more skilled. Actually, Andrade would there would be a favorable matchup for Canelo because he's not fast like Floyd. He's predictable at times, and his chin is suspect.
And he has bad balance.
Horrible balance. Yeah. I mean, you pretty much nailed it. Like, I don't know why somebody would say that Canelo's afraid of Caleb Plant or Andrade. I don't understand that at all. Look at his record. The dude's fighting better competition than the two names we just said. You know what I'm saying? By far. So combined, right? Exactly. So it just doesn't make sense. What I do look at it as is just Canelo hate, like wanting the villain or the heel for Canelo. That's what I look at it as. You know what I'm saying? They did this with Triple G. They did this with Laura. They said he was ducking them, and then he fought them, and he beat them. And they still, to this day, can't get over the fact that he beat those guys. So really, it's just Canelo hate. Caleb Plant, I think Canelo would beat Caleb Plant. I think Canelo beats those guys at 168 because they're green. They haven't really fought anybody. Caleb Plant hasn't fought anybody. David Benavidez really hasn't fought anybody neither. You know what I'm saying? They're both young, especially David. So he still has a lot of time to grow and get his resume popping. So I'm not even trying to take shots at David. I'm just saying both of them really haven't fought anybody, and they're both young. So Canelo is young too, relatively speaking. He's 29, and look at his record. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy. So, man, they just need to stop with all the bullshit, just hating. Pretty much, that's what I look at it as.
What were you gonna say? Get this smoke.
Oh, I was this Canelo is not Uzcategui. That's it. He's just not. On the other hand, on the other foot, Canelo, I think if he wants to make these fights, needs to stop saying my way or the highway and actually negotiate with these guys so both the dudes are comfortable, not just Canelo's in his element doing what Canelo does.
Oh wow.
I don't think so at all. I don't think so at all because he has so many of these motherfuckers thirsty to fight him. He can say if it's my way or the highway and move to the next thirsty motherfucker to fight him. And they're all lined the fuck up. So no, he doesn't have to change a goddamn thing. What these motherfuckers need to do is change something. They need to unify. They need to prove themselves. They need to step up. They need to fight better level of competition. Canelo don't have to do a goddamn thing.
Okay, then Canelo can find himself.
What I want to say is like Canelo, if you look at his resume, he's already a Hall of Famer. These guys that want to fight him, they have not done anything in the division like Andrade and Charlo. Neither one of them have done anything in the division, really. Look at who they're fighting. You know what I'm saying? While Canelo would have to come down, take Triple G's belt, then beat Andrade, then go across the street and get that belt. Like, they want him to do everything while they sit around for a payday. And the fans that support Andrade and Charlo, they're fine with it. I don't know how you could be fine with that.
Yeah, so for my I made a blanket statement about negotiating with guys, but I was really talking about Plant, right? That's why I say Canelo's not Uzcategui, and I'm not, I'll probably never remember the German dude's name that Plant just fought, and also the guy that he fought before that, another dude that I don't think should have ever been in a championship fight. Whatever. Plant is fighting who the hell Plant is fighting. I don't think that his resume or what I've seen in the ring yet says he's going to beat Canelo. I think it'll be a great fight. But really what the other part of it is shortchanging guys. Like Plant already is a huge underdog, even if he got his negotiation. Like what Plant wanted to negotiation was timing of the fight, not money, not location, none of that. It was just short turnaround for him because he just had a fight. If you want to get that, since he's a champion, has a belt in a division where your belt is more of a ceremonial status, but let's say it's a little bit more than that. But no, it's not really. But anyway, I'm saying that Plant is an actual real world champion. If you want to be a real world champion at 168, treat a champion like a champion and not just like another guy on your dance ticket, right? And that's what I'm saying. As Canelo is, if his idea is that I'm only going to fight champions, then you have to respect the champion too, and not just big dog him with your resume and your legacy. If you want those fights, because some guys are desperate, some guys aren't.
Hold on, let's go.
Champion.
Hold on, D. Let me hear two hands real quick. I know he wanted something to say about this whole situation at first.
I mean, shoot, at the end of the day, no. If you another champion and if you want to get elevated on the level of what Canelo's status is, then you need to be willing to acquiesce and take whatever's given to you. Because at the end of the day, nobody put in the work Canelo put in. So why should Canelo have to come up off of his high horse and give up some of the fucking things, some of the luxuries that, make him a champion and make him at the status he's at? Nah, if you want to be great, you're gonna go up there and you're gonna knock him off. If you think you can knock a man off, because let's be serious here, at the end of the day, we both gotta walk up in a pit. One of us gonna win and one of us is not gonna win. If I think I can beat your ass at the end of the day, shit, none of them other little in particulars and them intricacies should be standing in the fucking way. So at the end of the day, hell no, Canelo shouldn't come up off of anything for him. Like, what the hell you mean respect another champion? Yeah, I am respecting you. You getting a respected opportunity.
Boom. What did you want to say, IBT?
Yeah, I mean, you have to look at the facts, and the facts are that Canelo's kind of been doing this whole greatness thing since very early in his career. Fighting people who are legitimate contenders and champions at a very young age, fighting Floyd Mayweather at 23 at a catch weight as well. And even though Mayweather's past his prime, he's obviously the favorite in that fight, and he's also obviously the A side. So when you see Caleb Plant whose best win is Uzcategui, and then he defends his title against Mike Lee and Vincent Feigenbutts. It's like, yeah, you would. I mean, I would have to respect him for being a super middleweight champion, but you also have to look at the fact that he didn't take a lot of damage. He's a guy who seems to be in shape anyways. A fight on this quote-unquote quick turnaround wouldn't have even been a quick turnaround, because now we have the retrospect to see that the fight would have been delayed. And it just seems like this guy is rejecting a fight with the face of boxing, a huge payday, a chance at greatness. And then now he's going, oh, okay, I'm ready now, by the way, you can pick me again. You kind of squandered your opportunity for now, and you're going to have to prove yourself more than you already have, because realistically, what is Caleb Plant? What did he really bring to the table?
And then hold on,
D.
I want to hear what you got to say, D.
Yeah, and I was just gonna say this. We talk about a champion. Let's talk about the heart and the mindset of a champion. Just like IBT just said, and I had this in my mind anyway. You got a light touch, basically. A light touch against Feigenbutts or whatever the fuck his name is. Pardon my French, Snoop. But you got a light touch against this guy. You bounce around him, stop him. 75 days is plenty of time, bro. It's not this. You are a champion. You are a champion, and it would make. You know how huge that would make Plant if he was to beat Canelo? Forget about, knowing that COVID was coming. He should have took that fight, knowing he had 75 days to train after coming off basically a sparring match on a guy he put away. Get out of this.
And this is my only thing about it. And I respect your position. Get this smoke. I do. But here's the problem with him. When Caleb Plant coming off a fight against a guy named Feigenbutts, you know why his name is Feigenbutts? Because his game is straight ass. So he knew that Caleb Plant was going to go in there and dominate him. It was glorified sparring. It wasn't hard work. And then half a training camp for these new age guys today is just getting in shape. So Caleb Plant is already in shape. He's already fresh. He's already ready to go, and he's already sharp. The tools are sharp. Most guys want to tune up so they can sharpen their tools. So you're going into a Canelo Alvarez fight in shape, sharpened tools. You're talking about overwork. That means you would try to put yourself through an entire training camp that you don't fucking need. Why would I put myself through an entire camp that I don't need? All he needs to do is maintain staying in shape. You should be staying in shape throughout the course of the year regardless. This is what top-level athletes do. Am I wrong, Two Hands?
Absolutely not. Like you just said, man, if you just fought Feigenbutts over there and you just, easily beat him, like you said, all you got to do is stay in shape. You could just be ready, do some light sparring, by the time it, gets time for the fight, go intensify it a little bit more and then get in the ring. But nah, you want to do other shit.
You know what you have to do? 75 days gives you the time you need to build a game plan. Because that's really all they have to work with. He didn't get beat up with Feigenbutts. It wasn't a tumultuous fight. So that gives them the time they need to come up, because you're going to need a game plan.
Man, let's be honest here. He's trying to play us off. He's trying to play us off for certified dickheads, man. Let's be serious here, man. Canelo just asked him about that fight not even a month and a half ago, man. Now you get all the way over on another island somewhere in the Bahamas and you waving the white flag talking about Canelo. I'll be ready in September. Get the fuck out of here.
Look, that's really what's going on. And I like what Unbiased said, Caleb Plant, it's really going to come down to skills against Canelo Alvarez. If you really got the skills and the experience to beat him, then you can. But I think Caleb Plant knew he was going to take an L, and he just didn't want to lose his belt. He just became champion. He want to hold on to the status. And at the end of the day, he was talking about, I'm a champion. Respect me like a champion. Who the fuck is Caleb Plant? Nobody even knows who you are halfway around the world. People know Canelo is the face of boxing. When you get an opportunity to fight certain fighters, Anthony Joshua, whether you think he's good or bad or not, he's a unified champion, and people could look at him as a face of boxing. You get an opportunity to face a Floyd Mayweather, a Canelo Alvarez, an Oscar De La Hoya, a Manny Pacquiao. These are one-in-a-lifetime opportunities. What happens to Caleb Plant if he steps up against David Benavidez, gets knocked the fuck out, and his career is never the same? Then you missed an opportunity at Canelo Alvarez that you'll never get again. Look at Austin Trout. If he would have turned down the Canelo fight, where would he be right now? He can always say, hey, I had the Canelo fight. He didn't got his ass kicked a lot of times since then, but at least he fought Canelo.
Yeah, because he fought Canelo. That's why we talk about an Austin Trout. trust and believe Canelo fight put him on the map, bro. That's what it does. A Canelo fight puts you on the map. Plant should have took that fight, bro.
And then this Demetrius Andre shit. I agree with you, unbiased. Andrade has not been sharpening his iron. He's been fighting bums. So if you're fighting lower tier competition, guys like Arthur Akavov, those type of dudes, you're not sharpening your tools. So when you and you're not gaining any experience, this guy's 32 fucking years old. You're 32 years old. Think about it like this. If Tank Davis had never fought Pedraza or anything like that, you would pretty much look at Tank Davis and Andrade really the same. But you see Andrade, you say, well, it looks like he has more skills. But who the fuck has he fought and beat? Who has he fought? Because if he steps up and loses to anybody at this point, you could kind of say Andrade looks like a hype job. If you want to be honest about it. Am I wrong or right? I mean, what do you guys think? IBT, what did you think?
Yeah. So that's the error with these guys is I think Andre's been a little unlucky. He's been mismanaged, but he's also had plenty of his own opportunities messed up by himself. You know, we all know that he has fights where the other guy pulls out or doesn't, accept the contract. And there's fights where he pulls out or doesn't accept the contract. And the fact of the matter is he's at a stage in his career in a very hot division, or if he had a very good signature win earlier on in his career, it would be paying dividends now. And the issue is that he doesn't have that big win.
He's 32 years old. Canelo's 29. And this guy's already a Hall of Famer. That's just something to think about it, the age difference. Like this guy's now he's desperate. He's scrambling for anybody. And at this point, he's not relevant because his name is nothing. And then he's not established as one of the best fighters in the division. Because obviously, you can say what you want. A lot of people say, give this bullshit about, Triple G's not this. At least Triple G fought Danny Jacobs and Canelo. It wasn't whether you like him or not. He did fight these fucking guys. Demetrius Andre said that he would prefer to fight Jack Colclay instead of Idris Landy Lada, the full champion. He would rather fight a guy for a baby belt than a guy for the full belt. He said that out of his own mouth. Nobody told him to say that shit. He chose that. That's not mismanagement. That's not nobody pulling out a fight. That was his fucking preference. He said because Lada would run for him the whole fight. Why did you never fight Lada? That would have been the fight that put your ass on the map because a lot of people had him and Canelo being controversial. So why when you go in there, put Lada on the map and then say, look, I earned my fucking shot. Right or wrong, D?
Facts. All facts. Like I mean, shit, bro. It's black and white, dog. I can. What the fuck? I can't follow that. Nothing really I can say to follow that. Go ahead, Smoke. If you got something to say about that.
Well, not so much about Lara, but just the idea that Canelo is the only path to greatness for guys, especially guys like Plant, and the certainty of losing to a guy like Canelo, or giving yourself the best chance when you fight a guy like Canelo, and also weigh that against building your own lane the way Canelo did, not just shortcutting it to Canelo built his way up to the Mayweather fight, and he's the one who said, "I will fight you at a catch weight," and that's fine if that's what Canelo wants to do. Great, that's great.
Hold on, what did you say?
I said Canelo is the one who said, "I will beat you at a catch weight." It's not like Floyd asked for a catch weight.
Okay. This is where you're wrong. This is where you're wrong. So when they got into contract negotiations, Floyd even bragged about that he forced the catch weight on Canelo Alvarez. I don't know if you're aware of that.
Are you saying because Floyd bragged that he forced it on there? You're saying that Canelo didn't say, "I'll beat you at a catch weight"?
No.
Before Floyd said that?
Canelo took the catch weight because he has no choice. But when it came to the negotiations, he said does not want to catch weight.
No, IBFP. But my question is,
in the media, we're talking about contract negotiations, and Floyd even came out and said, "Yeah, I tricked him."
Right. So my point is that the Canelo quote predates what you're talking about.
Okay,
Canelo said that first.
We're talking about contract negotiations, and so the fucking negotiation. Get out your feelings. The actual negotiations said what? Floyd Mayweather, out of his own mouth, said that he tricked him into doing it. Floyd said this. The guy you're defending.
He didn't say trick.
He said Floyd said this.
Oh, okay, so is it tricked or is it forced? Regardless, Canelo said what he said first.
But Floyd is the one who makes the decision on it. Canelo doesn't make a decision. He can say anything he wants. Who's the A side?
Okay, great. But that doesn't negate the fact that Canelo said it first.
So the A side ultimately decides everything. So if the A side decides it, if Floyd said there's a catchweight, there's a fucking catchweight. Canelo's not getting a fight unless Floyd says it's not catchweight. So, and regardless whether you agree, whether he wanted it or not, at the end of the day, just like you said, shortchanging yourself, whatever, getting yourself the best opportunity to win the fight. I'm sure that Canelo would have had a better opportunity to win the fight if he didn't have a catchweight. Now, my thing is, I think he would have lost regardless because of his inexperience, because he wasn't ready yet, because he wasn't at that level. He wouldn't have, that's why it wasn't competitive. If you look at a prime Canelo versus Floyd at that point, you see it's a much closer fight. Let's just be honest and unbiased. Floyd wanted that fight. He wanted the weight. This was Floyd's whole plan. And Floyd is the same guy that said, if you beat a guy to catch weight, the shit don't count. Did he say that or not?
I don't know if Floyd said that or not. I don't know what that has to do with Canelo saying that Canelo said I'll beat you at a catch weight, or Oscar saying that I got somebody that's going to beat you for years when Floyd wasn't saying anything.
This is what people say. This is boxing. This is what people say. This is what people say. But Floyd said himself that the fight doesn't count on your resume if you beat a guy at a catch weight. So he beat Canelo. Does the fight not count?
Doesn't count what to Floyd? I don't know. You'd have to ask Floyd. I don't know what Floyd thinks about Canelo. He doesn't actually talk about Canelo after that whole thing. I don't know that Floyd.
He trolls him all the time. When he got the DAZN deal, he trolled him. When he was talking about it's not enough money, he nicknamed him. He talks about Canelo literally almost every interview. He hung on to this man jockstrap and never gave him a rematch. What are we talking about? You say he never talks about him like he didn't give a fuck.
No, I'm saying, okay, you're kind of going, you're a little bit all over the place now. You're saying that because he beat him at a catchweight, did the fight matter? And now you're talking about when Canelo was saying that he got the richest contract in boxing, how Floyd was saying, I made more than you. Well, I mean, did the fight matter or not?
I'm all over the place because that's where you're driving me. You say, well, Floyd never mentions him, so I take it there. You say the catchweight is, so then I take it there. See,
exactly.
Okay, okay. But the things that you're saying, hold
on, wait a minute. When the landlord's talking, you hush, my brother. Thank you. D, did you want to say something?
No, go ahead. That's what smoke do, bro. But go ahead.
Here it is again. See, he's always mischaracterizing my position. Okay, go ahead.
Now, the only thing I wanted to say about this is this. If a fight doesn't matter at a catchweight, if it doesn't count, then what are you talking about?
Right. Like I said, when I said Floyd doesn't mention, I was talking about the fight because that's what we're talking about, the fight, right? So him talking about his pockets is not talking about the fight. And me saying that Canelo asked for a catchweight has nothing to do with Floyd negotiating the catchweight, right? So what I'm saying is the moving of the goalpost has nothing to do with the points that I'm making. But whatever. Does it matter? I don't know if it matters to him. I can tell you that winning a fight at a catchweight matters. It's still on your record.
Move.
Yeah. So can I say something really quick? IBFP.
Speak on it, my brother.
Yeah, so there's an article here by USA Today, right? And in this article, it talks about how initially that the Mayweather team would actually come at him with a 147-pound fight, and he said he couldn't make it. And they slowly, pound by pound, as negotiations went on, inched their way up, and they went up from 147, then they went to 150, but he still can't make 150, obviously. And then they said 151, and then at 152, they were able to agree. So to say that Canelo put the catchweight on himself, that has to be kind of ludicrous. Why would you want to drain yourself purposefully? It's clearly he was obeying the A side, B side because he knew who he was in that fight. He knew he was the B side. He knew he was facing the number one man in boxing. Right? He was fighting the money man. So he had to take these stipulations that even if they weren't favorable, he thought he could win. So he was going to take whatever stipulation was possible for him to get the fight because that's what you do when you're chasing greatness.
Yeah, but he wasn't right. That's the whole point. He didn't give himself the best chance to win. He thought he could beat Floyd regardless of the handicap. That's a completely different thing than actually giving yourself the best chance to win and saying, you know what, I can't beat Floyd at a catchweight, and I'm not just going to fall into a thirst trap because it's going to help my career long term. I can still beat Canelo and fight. I can still beat Canelo and fight Floyd. Or I can tell Floyd to fuck off and have my own career because I'm a young dude and I'm still going to be around long after Floyd's gone.
Bullshit.
No, because hold on. Can I say something? Well, first, all right. So Can you guys hear me?
Go ahead.
All right, so yeah, Leonard Ellerby says when it comes down to what it comes down to is he who is on the A side, he's the one who controls it. Ellerby said that's what being the A side is about, having the leverage, and that's all it is. Listen, we're always going to put every opponent at a disadvantage. That's what is going to happen because Floyd has earned the right to do so. That's Ellerby talking about the catch weight that they put on Canelo. So look, Floyd and Ellerby, they wanted the catch weight. Like IBT just said, he broke it down. They wanted it. So back to the whole initial point, though, and you said Canelo should have told him that I have a longevity of a career and I don't need you. Well, look what happened. He lost to Floyd, right? He still fought him. He got Floyd's name recognition. His name is attached to Floyd. I mean, anytime you talk about Floyd, Canelo's name gets brought up. So in the long run, actually fighting Floyd was a great opportunity for Canelo. You know what I'm saying? And look, he still has a long career on top of that. He's still fighting today. So, yeah, chasing greatness, you're supposed to do that. Caleb Plant should have definitely chased greatness and took the opportunity to fight the #1 pound-for-pound fighter and the cash cow. In a lot of people's opinion is pound for pound. So, yeah, I mean, you should have did that.
And I just want to make a quick announcement for everybody after what Unbiased said. That is officially a body. So if you got caskets, go ahead and put them in the chat. That is officially a body. Like there's a toe tag. We're going to hold a funeral procession. Two Hands is going to bring the flower. D got the crying bitches. I mean, that's pretty much it. That's what's going on. That was an absolute body. When you get an opportunity to be great, you may never get it again. Or you could end up like Demetrius Boo Boo Andre at 32 years old with no one on your resume. See, that's what you don't want to do. This guy's already a certified Hall of Famer at 29 years old. That's why you take opportunities, even if you're at a disadvantage, because you feel like you can beat the guy. You take chances in boxing. If you don't take chances, who the fuck are you? Deontay Wilder? And then it bites you in the ass later. Let's just be
are you turning to Michael Grant?
All I was going to say is this, right? Teofimo Lopez, right? He's fighting to a lot of people, the pound for pound #1 guy in Lomachenko. Now, if he loses to Loma, bro, who cares? It's the same concept with Canelo. If you lose to Canelo, bro, who cares? Because most people are going to assume that it's going to be a tough fight for you. And he's a pound for pound fighter. It's not like you're supposed to have an easy fight with Canelo, right? So losing to him is not really going to take away from your career at all. Just like losing to Loma, losing to Floyd, it's not going to take away from your career. It's not.
Listen, you can lose to a lot of people. Like, you know, Derek Chisora losing to Robert Helenius. You don't need to lose to a great guy. Dude has 9 losses. He's still getting fights. Like, one loss shouldn't determine it like that. And also, leverage is only as good as a guy is willing to let you have it. Like the ultimate leverage. The ultimate leverage is no. Like, just like what Caleb Plant said. Like, you can have all the perceived leverage in a negotiation that you think you have, right? But if the other guy doesn't agree, then guess what? Your leverage doesn't mean anything. That's the whole point. That's the whole point. Is that
now
Caleb Plant, if he's saying I have a plan and a path for my own career, for my own greatness that could include Canelo or not include Canelo, that's on Caleb Plant. All I'm saying is if Canelo wants these fights, not if Canelo has all these options and he doesn't care about who he fights, but if he wants these fights, if he wants Caleb Plant, then he should sit down and negotiate with Caleb Plant. If he doesn't care about Caleb Plant, then fine, go along your A-side status, the position that you built over a long career and even a short life, but it's still been a long boxing career. Great, enjoy the fruits of your labor. And if Caleb Plant takes it or leave it, cool. Caleb Plant takes it or leave it. But if you actually want that Caleb Plant smoke, then actually negotiate with Caleb Plant.
Right. So that's the thing. It's really not up to Canelo doesn't have to negotiate with Plant. He got to eat it. He has to eat it. If he doesn't want to eat it, then Canelo could just move along. Like, let's be realistic here. Plant, and really, because he himself said, you know, I would love to fight Canelo in the future, which means that he still, in a sense, is shooting for a Canelo fight, but just later. So That's the thing. Like, he should have just took the fight now,
Yeah.
because
All
win
he
or
did is say, "I
lose,
just got out." Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
win or lose, you're still going to have him on your resume, even if you want it now or later. So what's the big deal? I mean, and now you're gambling with your career, in the sense of, like, you could have multiple losses and not even be a belt holder, and then you definitely don't get that Canelo fight. You definitely won't. Like, if you fight David Benavidez and you lose, you don't got a belt. There's no point of fighting you. So that opportunity is gone. You gambled with that. So good luck. Like, that's why he should have took the fight.
And also,
Yeah.
right, the thing is, you guys are on risk reward, and you're saying that losing to Canelo is better than losing to David Benavidez, like legacy. And I get all of that stuff. I get all of the logic and the wisdom behind what you're saying. What I'm saying is, Caleb Plant is saying, I could beat David Benavidez and then also increase my negotiating power when it comes to Canelo.
I'll put it
That's
like
a tall. That's a tall list.
David Benavidez, he's not going to be 50-50 with Canelo.
Say 50-50. I just said increasing it.
I understand increasing it, what, 2%, 5%? I mean,
it could be, even if it's listen, a 5% increase on a Canelo fight could be a huge, you could be talking about tens of millions of dollars. I don't know. I don't know what these guys are talking about. But the other part is that the fight itself gets bigger. It's not just that he increases his, just that he increases his negotiations with Canelo. Also, the fight gets bigger. So whatever he negotiates, it's also a bigger piece of it's a bigger pie.
And you're absolutely correct. And this is where you walked into a counter, because if you look at it like this, it does get bigger if he beats David Benavidez. But this is where you got dropped. At this point, if he loses to David Benavidez, there's nothing. You've lost everything. So all of that Canelo opportunity that you had, it's all gone. That's in David Benavidez's hand now.
Okay, both.
This isn't a fine butts. This isn't a fine butts. Am I wrong, D?
No, and I'm gonna tell you this too. You got this guy like Caleb Plant sitting here, or why would you turn down Canelo when this is automatically something that's going to put you on the map? This is a win-win situation. This is something that's going to put you on the map. Okay, you're turning that down for a chance to be put on the map. That's basically what you're saying. Like, okay, if I go in there and beat David Benavidez, when the odds are against that. The odds are really against that. So you're saying don't fight the guy where you definitely will get put on the map and take a chance to be put on the map. That makes no sense. He should have taken the fight.
Actually, there's an old saying that you can run down the hill and fuck one cow, or you can walk down the hill and fuck them all.
Okay.
As a champion, though, look, let's define a champion. As a champion in Caleb Plant, if you feel like you can beat Canelo, why dick around with all the nonsense? Just go beat Canelo. But no, you're gonna talk about going to beat Benavidez first just to fight Canelo, which you already think you can beat? What the hell are we talking about here? Just go beat the guy if you think you can beat him already.
Let's go to hold on 1 second, fellas. Let's go to Two Hands and IBT. Let's see what these guys are going to chime in on.
I mean, as far as, waiting to, use the whole walk down and fuck them all anthology, I mean, that's all good and everything. If there was, plenty of fruits down there, if there was plenty of fruits worth waiting to fuck. But I mean, when Canelo was the biggest fruit on the branch, I mean, shit, you might as well go ahead and try to seize that opportunity, because there are not going to be a bunch of opportunities for him to be there. Like, let's just use this situation for one as an example. Okay, the virus pops off. Nobody knows when sports is or anything or just life in general is going to continue to move forward. So sitting and waiting on an opportunity could come back to bite you in the fucking ass. You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, if you got an opportunity, you should take it. If you're not going to take the opportunity, you got advisors or whatever that should be guiding you into another direction of something that is equally as advantageous, if you're not going to take the Canelo situation. So don't say, hey, I'm going to avoid Canelo and go knock on another door if that shit don't make no fucking sense business-wise. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, it's a business. You're a prize fighter. So you're supposed to fight for the biggest prize. So I'm not going to avoid fucking Canelo to go run around and chase. Really, what else is there for him to chase?
Now, two hands. Is that not the same thing that Wilder did with Anthony Joshua? He went and chased Tyson Fury, trying to get a bigger slice of the AJ pie, and fucked around and got stopped. Am I wrong? Two hands.
He got beat bloody for that, and he got took, and he shortened his stock, and pretty much done ruined his career. So. You know what I mean? You better be smart about that shit.
No, he should
okay, I think you
for Caleb Plant, because if he goes in there fucking around with Benavidez, you could see the same kind of beating that Wilder got.
I think you're conflating points, right? So you said it was prize fighting, right? So the idea that Wilder should have taken less to fight AJ just because he was trying to negotiate his position. He still made a grip of money. He made more money fighting Fury and getting his ass whooped by Fury than AJ was offering for that fight. And if you put that to the Plant situation, if you
answer the question, Smoke.
I wasn't done with my point, but I didn't hear your question either. I didn't hear your question, but let me just finish my point and then re-ask it. Just let me finish my point.
Then fighting Joshua. How?
Okay, because the Joshua offer was for $15 million flat.
No, it wasn't for $15 million flat. It was for $120 million.
Oh, you're talking about that offer? Okay, so you're talking about the second offer. That was a multi.
Go ahead.
Okay,
do what you do.
That was a multi-fight offer. I thought we were just talking about the AJ fight by itself. So anyway, that's cool. So
you're gonna look at that.
But I'd like to finish my point.
Just 1 second. Let me make this one point. What Two Hands was saying is the $120 million offer is the AJ offer. Yeah, multi-fight. He doesn't get that offer if there's no Anthony Joshua. They're not offering him 120 to fight fucking Dominic Brazil. They're offering him that 120 to fight Anthony Joshua. They just happen to sweeten the pot by saying, "Oh, you can fight this other guy." And that's really what. Am I wrong to it? And he could have.
Okay, what you guys are missing.
This is what they missed, New. This is what they missed.
Okay, if I could just
took 40 mil per, and not for Dominic Brazil, and not got the sweetie pot.
Okay, so here's what I think you guys are missing. First off, the AJ. This is if you just want to deal with the AJ portion of that offer, it was for $80 million. Both AJ. And I know listen, I wasn't even done with my other point. Like the AJ offer was either for $15 million or for 80. It was never for 120, right? So even the 120 had to it's either 100 million for 3 fights or 120 million for 4 fights. And conflicting reports, right? So I'm just laying that out there. It was not 100. So when you're asking me about the AJ fight and missing out on $120 million, those two things don't actually connect. But I would like to finish my point about Caleb Plant and David Benavidez. Will Caleb Plant make more money fighting David Benavidez than he would have made fighting Canelo?
No, I think we can all agree that he wouldn't have made more money fighting a Benavidez than Canelo. In fact, he would have made more money fighting Canelo first and then Benavidez.
Okay, so all right. So what was the offer? What was the offer for Caleb Plant to fight Canelo? What was the actual dollar figure on that fight?
And so the dollar figure on Canelo and Caleb Plant?
Yeah.
Caleb Plant turned down the offer as soon as they approached it with him. They never got in negotiations because he
so there was no dollar figure associated with this.
No, not because he turned it down right away. He didn't even want to negotiate.
Right. So now the question, because I have another question. Do we know how much money Rocky Fielding made?
Now,
no, we don't. Right? We don't know how much. So we do know Danny Jacobs, and it was some sort of sweetener, and there was guaranteed minimum, but then the zone apparently came over the top with some extra bread. Is the reported negotiation, and so Danny Jacobs made like $10 million, something like that. I don't know where Danny Jacobs would have gone or what options Danny Jacobs had. I guess another Triple G fight, something like that. But Caleb Plant actually has a fight that would increase his net value, like not only his own net worth, but also his net value in the division and also the sport by being the unified champ that Canelo can come and get 2 belts from, and that Canelo payday is presumably still on the table if Canelo is trying to actually be a champ
at 168.
Okay, so there's a few things wrong with that. Get this smoke. One, you said we didn't know what Rocky Fielding's purse was. You're right. We don't know the exact details. One thing we do know, unlike Caleb Plant, Rocky Fielding took that right away. He wasted no time taking that Canelo Alvarez payday. He had wasted no time in taking the opportunity to be great. Whether he win, lost, or draw, he took the opportunity and the payday right away. That's what we do know, and he enjoyed it. You got to think about it. And then, not only that, with Caleb Plant, when you look at the same situation, Rocky Fielding would have been an absolute fool and an idiot to turn down the Canelo fight while trying to play some A-side shit about money. That would be idiot. Or let me build the fight and try to fight some other guys. No, let's be realistic. So Rocky Fielding should have turned down the Canelo Alvarez fight and said, well, let me go fight David Benavidez or fight Callum Smith in a rematch, and let me see if I can build up the Canelo Alvarez fight. That's absolutely idiot, dumb shit. You might get one chance at this. You might get one chance if you're lucky. Everybody doesn't fight Manny Pacquiao, Floyd Mayweather. There's a lot of guys still waiting in line for those fights. When you get an opportunity at a career high payday, a legacy fight, and you get 2-1, you take that shit. That's why Deontay Wilder threw away his entire legacy by chasing Tyson Fury, trying to run away from Anthony Joshua. Think about it. The guy is talking about, I need 50-50 with AJ. What kind of crackhead shit is that? This is why Deontay Wilder's a fucking moron. If you beat Anthony Joshua and you land that one lucky fucking punch and you beat him, then you can be the boss and get 60-40 in the rematch. Then you can be undisputed. Then you can be the hottest thing in boxing. No, you wanted to go the idiot route and turn down the greatest opportunity that you've ever been presented with. But that's fine. We're gonna go to two hands.
Right. And I just didn't want to let him get away with letting them slide on saying it was either 50 million or it was 100 million. No, Deontay Wilder was awarded two different options at this deal, bruh. He could have got 20 million for Brazil just to say here in good favor, and he could have still made 50 million per fighting Anthony Joshua. And that would have been fighting in America and fighting in the UK. Now, he could have not taken that shit, and they was willing to get that man $120 million, even if he got knocked on his ass in the first round. For all three fights, he would have got 40, 40, and 40. But he still turned it down. So regardless, this man was either going to get freaking 40 million per fight, or he was going to get straight up 100 million for the fight. But he chose to turn it down, bruh. Wasn't no $15 million. $15 million was the initial offer when they first started fucking talking about the bullshit. Wilder, so even what Wilder did right now, fighting Tyson Fury, getting 25 million with a little bit of pay-per-view upside because the fight didn't do 1.1 million, so they didn't even break even. He still made more money. And all of the things Wilder's done, even all the way back to fucking Wilder Fury 1, what Anthony Joshua was offering, the more he's made in his whole fucking career. So it don't make no sense.
Okay, yeah, what you said don't make no sense, for sure.
I want to make sure D get his turn to speak. D, speak on it.
Oh, no, you guys go ahead.
Yeah, yeah, what he said don't make no type of sense. Okay, it was 80.
They offered him 20 million for Brazil. They offered him 20 million for Brazil just because that fight was going to go on. It was 50 million per both fights. Then, dog, I got it right in front of me just because I already know. But hold on, let me finish. Since it don't make no sense to you. Because this is straight from ESPN. Since it don't make no sense to you. It's straight from ESPN.
You said it 5 times. Do you want to say it a 6th time, or can I talk?
Bro, I can continue saying it if you like. Either
no,
way,
I want to. All you did was. I didn't even get to the part that doesn't make sense to me. You just keep saying it don't make sense to you. So let me tell you what don't make sense to you. The idea that it's 50 million per fight. It was 40 million per fight. It was 80 million. It was 40 million per fight. Flat fee, not 50.
It was 40 million. It was 40 million minus paying for the 120 for the It was 40 million per minus them not paying for the 20 million for Brazil. It was 50 million per fight. It was 50 million per fight if they gave them the 20 million on behalf of Brazil, bruh. It was 100 or 120.
Right. It was 120 for 4 fights. It was because here's what it is. It wasn't even 120 at all. Really, is really what it was. It's only 100 million because that's what John Skipper confirmed, 100 million. But I'm gonna just go with the reports about 120. The reports about 120 were about 4 fights. One was Dominic Breazeale, 2 with AJ, and perhaps 1 if he either beat AJ
See,
or if.
this
Or,
where
or,
I
let,
gotta
or
correct
let
you
me
where
fin-
you
let me
wrong.
finish. Let me
Hold
fin-
on,
let me finish.
this
No,
where
you
you
hold
wrong.
on. You
How
hold
can I
on.
be
I'm not done
how
talking,
can I
man.
be
You
point?
just went
That was
on and on.
gonna
You
pay
went
him.
twice.
Was
You went
Brazil
twice. Let me finish.
was
Can
Brazil
I
fight he
finish?
was
Can I
already
finish
doing or
my
not?
thought? Can I
Answer the
finish my thought
question.
or no? Can
Was
I finish my
Brazil
thought or
a
no?
fight he
You
was
go. You
already
cook.
doing
You
or
cook.
not? Was Brazil a fight he was already doing or not? He was
Am I
already
going to be?
fighting before
Can I
Brazil did
finish
a
my
fight
thought, or
on
you got to
March
keep interrupting with
18th.
questions?
The
I'm
other
going to
3
finish my
fights
thought.
was him.
Am I?
Even if Anthony Joshua beat him both times, they still were giving him another $40 million to sweeten the deal. Dominic Brazil was already a part of the package because he was fighting him regardless. So they was going to pay him 20, saying, "Hey, this is us being cool, in good favor. We will give you 20 million. You can fight our boy AJ and get 50." Or they was going to pay him 40 million for 3 fucking fights, bruh. Regardless of whether he lost or not, he still was going to get paid. What are
Okay.
you missing?
Okay, what I'm missing is the ability to finish a thought because you keep interrupting and screaming. So what I would like to tell you, what I would like to put out there is that the 120 million was for 4 fights. It was 20 for Brazil, 40 apiece for AJ, 2 fights of a undisputed and a rematch, and then another fight. And if after the either AJ fight or before the AJ fight, because AJ already had a fight as well.
Bruh,
And not only so that's just that part of it. Like really, the AJ fight, no matter how you slice it up, was only $80 million. Period. Dot. Now the other part.
Three fights worth $100 million. The first fight would have been $20 million payday to fight Brazil in the spring, which was way over the market for the value. Wilder was guaranteed $10 million to fight Fury in the exciting draw. The fight would have been $40 million to fight Joshua in the fall for the undisputed. In the third fight with an immediate rematch, Joshua for another $40 million. Even if Wilder would have lost in worst case scenario and got knocked out, even in the first round, he still would have got paid it. The second version of the offer, the sources said, would have paid Wilder $20 million for Brazil, $40 million for Joshua, and a $20 million fight against an opponent determined by a following $40 million for the rematch, man. So it was 120 or it was 120 or it was 100, bruh.
Okay.
That's what I said to begin with. You jumped in and started screaming. I already said this. I already said it was 100 for 3 fights or 120 for 4.
Get this smoke. 1 second. Everybody, we're going to move on from this, but I just like to make another announcement. That's once again another body by 2 hands. Salute to 2 hands. That's a body bag.
Is that what you guys do?
Yes.
This is what you guys do for real? For real?
Hold on. Get out of here. $120 million. And you don't realize the Brazil fight is a worthless fight that they were going to overpay because of Anthony Joshua. That's a sweetener. That is a sweetener to the pot. And so I don't understand how anybody can miss that whole point. That is really one of the biggest points about 2 hands was making the whole time.
Oh, okay, that wasn't a sweetener. Bro, that was for him to actually say yes now because the zone wanted him on a multi-fight deal, and he already had a fight signed.
He wasted his whole year fighting Luis Ortiz, Dominic Brazil, and Tyson Fury, and even fighting Tyson Fury back in December. He still didn't make more than the money that Anthony Joshua was offering. So was betting on himself worth it? Absolutely not, bro. So I'm just saying.
All right, so now you know how much he made to fight Fury. Listen, they didn't break even at what. First off, there is no fight that takes 1 million pay-per-views to break even. Just period. That's right there on its face was stupid as fuck, right? But whatever. Let's just keep going. Let's just if that's what we. I didn't say okay. I didn't say you were stupid. I didn't say you were stupid. I'm not calling you name. I'm not trying to disrespect nobody. I'm just saying my perspective.
You came in here because you felt offended that D called you an idiot, considering that he didn't mention your name and 14,000 people just happened to insinuate that's what you're referring to.
No, I didn't. Or 14,000 people here? No, I didn't insinuate that at all. But anyway, but we can keep going around and around in circles with your fucked up numbers, or you can let me finish a fucking point and move on.
The point is, you fucking wrong. Half of the time you speak, you wrong. The whole reason you even got here today, you was fucking wrong. You felt like you was in your fucking emotions, feeling like D talking about you. How did it even bring you here? And you talking about this is a show you don't know or you've never even been to, but it brought you here. And D talking about you today. Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, exactly. Because I just finished. Because I just finished.
Million. We talking about 100 million. How do you get 15 and 100? You talking about the first offer? You so much of a Deontay Wilder fan. You got to be emotional, and you don't even want to talk about the facts. You want to sit up there and flip flop and put on your favorite tap dancing shoes. So don't talk about me. Talk about you and your fucked up numbers, Holmes.
Okay, so first off, Fury, AJ.
We're gonna go to D real quick. D, you got anything to say? We're gonna start wrapping this up, man, because this was a live debate. I appreciate having everybody on. Two hands. You know, sometimes people don't want to get in the casket. D, you got anything to say? Your final thoughts? We're gonna get everybody's final thoughts real quick.
Yeah, my final thoughts is this. I sat back today and enjoyed the show. I mean, I said my piece earlier. Let me tell you something. I enjoyed the show, and because this is the type of shit I didn't want to say that because this is what I go through with smoke. Now y'all got a piece of what I go through with smoke. And
yeah, this is what you're gonna have to keep going through with
smoke. On a daily basis, this is what I go through with get this. I know I'm gonna have to keep going through with smoke because I know you're gonna be there clicking that link. So great show, dude. Live was lit. I appreciate you having me on. Mr. Two Hands, Get the Smoke, IBT. I see y'all fellas.
All right, D.
Yeah, so next time, D.
And then we're gonna get to IBT. IBT, what's your final thoughts on this whole? Anything you want to say? Final thoughts.
Hey man, I'm just glad I could finally get on the live with you, and I plan to get on more. I think I just want to see the best fight the best. I don't really care about this whole, oh they were gonna make this much and this, or oh they have this plan. Usually, right? If you can, the most direct path you can take that tends to be the best. He's gambling. Plant is gambling on beating Benavidez and then getting a Canelo fight. And then as for Wilder, I mean, I've already been saying this kind of thing, so like what Two Hands was saying. So yeah, I just want to see fighters truly chase greatness and not try to milk a payday.
Good shit, IBT. I appreciate you. Salute. Get this smoke. What's your final thoughts about everything and just anything else you want to say?
Yeah, I would. I can't wait for us to actually set up this debate with D. Apparently he got me twisted. He can talk all kinds of ways about me because he feels like he can. So you got to put some respect on my name. Thanks for having me. I plan on being a sub. Somebody else, told me about the stream. Came over. I definitely enjoyed my time here while I was here. And you guys got to stop with the self-congratulation and the mutual admiration society. Like, let a guy make his point. Let another guy make his point, not just let one guy make his point and say that your body, like, is just, I mean, it's childish, really. But do you? That's all I had to say. And I'll be back. You'll see me in the chat.
Much respect. Get this smoke. Get this smoke. I'll tell you one thing about Get This Smoke. At least I respect him for the simple fact that he decided to come on here and at least speak his piece. No matter how dumb or stupid the points he made, no matter how idiotic they were, no matter how asinine they were, no matter how much of an idiot he made himself look, I respect Get This Smoke for having the balls to come on here. No matter how stupid his points was, no matter idiotic it was, he did have the balls to come on here and speak what he felt was the truth, no matter how wrong it really was. But that's okay. Mr. Two Hands, I know you got it.
Yeah, man, I got a PSA. Look, man, I understand, man. Look, on the Eviction show, we always exist in the world of the real, man. But sometimes you get these clowns that come over here and like to pop the blue pill and take you down this version of freaking Looney Tunes Street. Now, look, man, he came over here and said he didn't even know about the stream, never heard about the channel. But how do you find D or find anybody else before knowing about IBFP, considering he more popping than all of us? So you already know he lying to you off that street on some shit like that. Just like Hamed, when he wanted to duck the smoke when I said pull up live the next day, and he didn't like StreamYard, and he tried to pull me to the back talking about some self-grouping and hangouts. But then you on Ring IQ StreamYard with me, and I just happened to pull up on you. But I didn't want to embarrass you because I was on another man's stream. But I'm just saying, all of y'all Carney Tunes can talk those fallacies and talk with them semantics, but we already know what it is. Y'all can try to sit up there and act like y'all don't know what's real. Y'all can act like y'all don't know Nuke putting pressure on you. I'm putting my foot on y'all neck, but y'all know we out here. Don't try to come in because you waving the white flag already, conceding to defeat. But that's it. It costs you nothing to pay a nigga no mind.
That's right. And look, get this smoke. You always welcome back, man. You know, you always welcome back to the show, whatever, man. I appreciate you coming on. IBT, D Jefferson, D Donut Shop Jefferson. And look, I'm gonna tell you this about Two Hands. If anybody that ever come in here that ever want to debate Two Hands, you better have all your paperwork correct, because if it is not, you will get body bagged and toe tagged. Some guys don't want to get in the casket. Some guys trying to fight being in the morgue. And you know what? Two Hands just have to keep burying you and burying you and burying you until you just won't get up. That's really it. That's really it. That's
man. We just like to keep our foot on their neck. We like to keep them all the way down. So instead of burying them 6 foot, we bury them 8 to make sure they don't make it to ground level.
I mean, you got to think about it. If somebody's whole position is about not taking the biggest fight, and somebody's whole position is not taking the best fight, somebody's whole position is about trying to build the fight, they let you know that they're debating from the position of the PBC, and we already know how they turn out. So I'm going to let Two Hands end it with the most famous line that you've ever heard. Two Hands, go for it, my brother.
As we always say, it costs you nothing to pay a nigga no mind. Hey, Smoke, man, get a grown man's voice before you come back.
Woo! Salute, family.